Okay, so today is Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. Um, so last week, I believe I had talked about my relationship playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33 with Kai no Kiseki, also known as Trails Beyond the Horizon, looming. And what I had said was that I'd played a decent amount of Claire with my friend at his house, and he had gotten me a copy for Christmas, but it was arriving around the 13th or the 14th. And Kai was supposed to drop on the 15th. I was like, look, I am liking French game. I am liking the JRPG. C'est magnifique so far. But look, Trails is Trails, and I've been waiting to play this game since 2024. One has kind of a priority here. But then, Amazon had said, your copy of Trails isn't arriving until January 22nd. Like, okay, that sucks. But that gives me some time. That gives me a week. I don't know how much more Expedition I have to play, as I don't really know how far I am in the game, but there's a non-zero chance I could beat this by next Friday, and that way I can play this game, finish this game, and I don't have a situation like I had a few times last year where I was playing a project, or whatever the project was, a game, a show, a book. Here's my project, and then something interrupts it, and then I can't really get back into that project. I don't want to do that, because this game doesn't deserve that. Not to say the other stuff last year did. This is really good, and I do want to finish it. So, okay. I think, the fact that Kai is getting delayed a week, it sucks, but it'll be nice in its own way. Then Kai came out on time. It did end up dropping on Friday. Or maybe it was Saturday that it actually got delivered. It was one of the two. It did get delivered. I went, what am I to do? First world problems, am I right? I'm like, what am I to do? Because I really, really, really want to play Trails. But at that point, I played a bit more Claire. And without going into spoilers, if you know, you know, I got to the scene in Act 2 by the tree. And once I got to the scene by the tree, number one, I cried. I was crying pretty hard. And number two, I had kind of more or less said to myself, okay, I'm in. I've already liked the game. I've already been enjoying it. But now I'm, locked in. I'm finishing this game before I play Kai. So, even though Kai more or less arrived on time, I still realized I had to finish Expedition. So, made some good progress, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Didn't get to play any on Sunday. Monday, I had a day off, and I was like, okay, I'm off today. There's a whole lot of, stuff I can do. I still have a tier list video to record. I could sit down and, work on Ayla. I have, some other videos I can do. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to lock in, and I'm going to see if I can finish this game. And I think I started around, 10:15, 10:20, somewhere around there. And I stopped at 6:05, 6:15. I played for 8 straight hours. And that is 8 straight hours. I did not move from my spot. I did not get up to go to the bathroom. I didn't go up to stretch my legs. I didn't go get food. I ate, sat down, and I think the only time I moved from my spot is when my phone was dying. So I just went up, charged my phone, went right back to playing Claire. And that session was the monolith. It was the monolith and the cutscenes after. And then when I get back to camp, and it's like, all right, go talk to your party members and everything, and then you can start the greatest expedition in history. I'm like, okay, this is a place to stop. Especially because I don't know how much game is after this. Because the way they framed it, this greatest exposition in history sounds like a lot of work and a lot of backtracking. It, like, the vibe it was giving me kind of reminded me of getting the Triforce in Wind Waker. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do this. This has kind of killed my momentum. Look, I'll play some tomorrow. We'll see how long this actually is. Maybe I can finish it tomorrow. And little did I know, the greatest greatest expedition in history was a cutscene. Like, there's still game to do. Like, there's one final area, and like, the game opens up so you can do other shit, but it was basically just a cutscene. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, if I had known that, I might have locked in and just like tried to finish the game yesterday. But I did finish the game on Tuesday. Then I booted up Kai for a bit, and I didn't play any yesterday. So there's that. I plan on doing a video just talking about XP33. That's what I like to call it. I'm either going to call it Clair Obscur with like bad French accent, or just XP33. That rolls off the tongue for me. Short version, again, like without spoilers, I think gameplay is really fun. I love all the customization options. Like, you can really build a character in this. I think the art is really good. I think the music is really good. I think the story, like the prologue, is gripping. Act 1 is solid with a really good ending. Act 2 made me cry at the start. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I almost feel a little blurry about some of the stuff that happened in the middle. I guess it's more just like, I don't remember the order of everything. It's like, I think you would go... I'm trying to go like pretty vague. It's like, there's a specific boss you have to fight, and then you do the accents, and then it's the monolith? Like, I think so. That kind of sounds about right. It's like Act 2 was, like, it was good. I was enjoying it. I liked seeing where it was going. I liked seeing more of the world and just some of the story reveals that were happening, but also, like, the breadcrumbs that I was following. It's like, if this goes where I think it's going, this is an interesting idea. Are they going to pull it off? And when I got to the monolith, I'm like, okay, I think this is really going where I think it's going. And then when I get to the ending, I'm like, okay, it is. I wasn't like spot on 100%. I'm like, this is where I thought this, like, they set up their trail of breadcrumbs and they followed it. And I followed it alongside them. And I liked it a lot. And then I get to Act 3, and I get to the ending. And I feel like XP33, because I'm probably going to do that video on it like as soon as I'm done recording this. It's the kind of game where I'm like, I don't even care about the first, I think my total playthrough was like 40 hours, like 42 hours or something. Like, I really don't care about those first, like, 37 hours anymore, aside from maybe the tree. I just want to talk about, like, the last 5 hours of the game, because that has stuck with me the past couple days. Is just, this is so fascinating. And I have, like, so many different ways of, like, viewing it and appreciating it. Like, I love it. But I'm also like, man, wow. In the best possible way. So, Kai has to follow that. But I'm like, it's a Trails game. Like, it's going to be goated. But, I mean, I fucking hated Kuro too. So we'll see what happens with Kai, which is, for all intents and purposes, it's Kuro 3, but I don't know, it's like Cold Steel 6 because of Reen. I guess I'll say I did the prologue for Kai, which was like, all right, here's a trio of Van's team, and then here's Schwarzer, Altina, and freaking Kevin. And when I got to the end and I saw like the boss fight that was about to happen, I was like, okay, this is cool. This is hype. I'm excited. I'm probably about to get my ass kicked because you know I'm playing this shit on Nightmare. I'm like, I might get rolled and smoked. But we're going to do this. It felt good to be back. And not to be like, man, dude, like I hated playing Claire or anything. Because there were points playing Kai, I'm like, all right, I can't dodge this. I have to, unless I'm doing an evade tank, but I'm like, I have to just take the hit. It was really fun. There was one point where the fight got like slightly dicey. Because, like, Rosette did an S-craft, and then, like, a couple turns later, Crow just did an S-break. I'm like, oh, that's not good. But, yeah, the fight went super well. Like, I did it within 60 turns. We beat everybody. It was fun. Actually, I don't think I've technically finished the prologue, because now I'm in, like, the Marduk facility. I gotta go, like, talk to people and shit. So, I've done a good chunk of it, I think. I don't expect there's a whole lot left in the prologue, but we'll see what happens. But so that's Kai. You know what rhymes with Kai? Rye. I finished Catcher in the Rye. We're a bit of a weird transition, a little jank, but I did finish Catcher in the Rye. I essentially, like, I finished the book, kind of thought about it for a bit. I'd been thinking about it as I was reading it, like, for the past, like, week or so. And so I just kind of wrote out, like, my thoughts, like a review of the book, and then sent it to some of my friends. So I will do a video on it, which will essentially be, I'm just going to read this, and then be like, okay, have my thoughts in the few days, or about the week since I finished it. Do I feel like there's anything I want to add? Do I feel like there's anything I want to modify here? I'll probably just do something like that. But short version, I did enjoy the book. I don't want to kill John Lennon. I feel like, and Jedi, like, anytime I have told someone I am reading the book, that's the first thing they bring up. It's not like, oh man, like, what made you want to read it? Or, wait, have you never read it or anything like that? It's just, so, how do you feel about John Lennon? To which I've just kind of facetiously responded every time, like, no, I don't want to kill John Lennon. But Ringo gotta go. Like I said, facetiously, I am not threatening Ringo Starr. I feel like I should make that clear. It should be obvious, but who knows? But no, I enjoyed the book a lot. To me, it is fundamentally a book about someone in the process of grieving and in depression, and how they're just kind of spiraling because of it and struggling to cope, which makes it really tragic. But, like, I do think it's really interesting. I think there are some points where the book is genuinely funny, like, just with some of Holden's observations. Yeah, like, there's this one bit where he's talking about Ackley, and he's like, yeah, he's the kind of guy that it doesn't break your heart when he leaves a room. Like, that is a really funny way of phrasing that. But yeah, I enjoyed the book. Migment Management, MGMT. I have listened to their third album. It is the self-titled album. I am referring to it as Styles Unlimited. From what I understand, that's kind of like a fan nickname for it, because that's like what's on the... Sorry, it's like on a hotel, or it's on some... It's the sign on a building on the album, and so it just kind of helps to, like, identify what it is. I didn't enjoy it. Like, I do plan to do, like, a short video on it as well. The shorter version. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first two, but I still like the album. I still think it is a good album. I think the reason I didn't enjoy it is it's just thematically really depressing. Not to say the other two aren't, but they handle it in different ways, and I think the tone and vibe of the music kind of mask that, whereas this album is like, no, this is an album that lyrically and musically just feel lonely and empty. Not empty as in it's vapid and has nothing to say, but almost like a never-ending story kind of way, where it's just the emptiness, which that is like something I actually wrote in my script. But that's kind of my thought on that. I need to listen to, what is it, Little Dark Age, I think is the next. I think there's 2 left, so we'll see how those go. I mean, that's basically it without getting into football, so let's get into football. Number 1, congrats to Indiana. 16-0, undefeated national champions. Got the Heisman winner, likely the number 1 overall pick in Mendoza. I'm really interested in seeing what happens with Curt Cignetti. Because on the one hand, I could see him say, like, yeah, you know, I came here to build this program. We won a natty in 2 years, but I can still keep doing more. Like, I can really establish this program, keep it on the map. I could also see him, because like, I don't know the guy. All I know about the guy is all he does is win. Google me. And then he did. Like, that season, they went to the playoffs, and I think they only lost 2 games. And the next year, they went undefeated and won the whole damn thing. That's impressive. That's incredible. But there are a lot of NFL coaching jobs open right now. Well, I think we lost like 10 coaches. And to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced we're done, just because I'm like, I don't know if Andy Reid is going to retire. It might be a little too late now. I mean, which feels weird to say when the season's not even technically over. And like, teams are already starting to hire their head coaches, like fill coordinator positions. It really puts the Chiefs behind the curve. But at the same time, I mean, if he's still like taking time to consider it, he's still taking time to consider it. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. But there's a lot of openings, and with how impressive those 2 years in Indiana have been, I would be shocked if NFL teams weren't calling him up. From what I understand, he's a native Pittsburgh guy, and the Steelers' job just opened, which does not happen very often, I think, since... Because some people will say in the Steelers' history, they've only had 3 coaches, and that's not correct. It is since the Super Bowl era, so like since the merger, they've only had 3 coaches, and that's Noel, Cowher, Tomlin. Now they're about to have a 4th. So I don't know. Maybe Cignetti goes to the Pittsburgh job. Maybe someone else does the Pittsburgh job. I don't know, but I am kind of interested in seeing what happens there. I mean, the Raiders have an opening, and they're probably going to take Mendoza number 1. So it's like, hey, you want to come here? And all you do is win. Please do this here. Because where was he? No, I was going to say UNLV. I'm like, no, it wasn't it. James Madison is where he was at before Indiana. So it's not like a, hey, you won in Vegas, come win again in Vegas. But it could be a, hey, man, please, we want to build a winning culture here too. Tom Brady is like one of the owners of our team. He knows a lot about winning. Maybe you guys can make some, please. I don't know. But just going over the divisional round, number 1, I went 1-3, significantly worse than I did in the wild card round, and I will own that. Number 2, when you're starting with the Bills and the Broncos, I have to say, I had said for Bills Jags, I think the winner of this is winning the AFC. Clearly I was wrong. I have to own that. I will also say, Clay can verify this, because I said this to him during the game. But there was a point in the 4th quarter where I looked at Clay and said, here's what's about to happen. The Broncos are going to punt. Then the Bills will get the ball. The Bills will go down the field. They will kick a field goal. They'll be up 4. And then when the Broncos get the ball, they're going to go down the field and score a touchdown. Then the Bills will get the ball, and we'll see what happens after that. And that is exactly what happened. And there was a point where the Bills scored a touchdown on that drive. And I was like, all right, I was wrong. I'm rooting for Buffalo. Like, no shade, disrespect toward Denver. Genuinely none. I'm like, I was rooting for Buffalo. So hey, like, I'll take being wrong if it means the team I was rooting for is gonna win. Like, actually, that pass, like, hit the ground, and it very clearly did. Like, this was not bullshit. It's like, that hit the ground and then popped up into the receiver's hand, so that's clearly not a touchdown. Like, they are kicking that field goal. Denver is about to score a go-ahead touchdown, aren't they? Yeah, that looked pretty easy. So, I don't know. It's like, I was right about something in the game. I'll take that. Yeah. Let me take a second to compose, like, how do I want to phrase this? I have seen a lot of people put this loss on Josh Allen, and that's not entirely wrong. But the way I've heard some people talk about it, to me, makes it sound like you watched the box score, you didn't watch the game. You can say, dude, he committed 4 turnovers. Of course you're going to lose when you do that. You screwed your team over. Yes, in a vacuum, like looking at the box score, there's a lot more that went into that. I would say of those 4 turnovers, one of them is not his fault. Arguably 2 of them. The fumble at the end of the first half, like when he's running very loose with the ball. He gets tackled, he fumbles, Denver recovers. 100% Josh Allen. That is on him. That gave Denver 3 points, like basically 3 free points in a game that went into overtime. So at the end of the game, at the end of regulation, Bills would have been driving for a game-winning field goal rather than a game-tying field goal. So from that perspective, yes, game is on Josh Allen. There was a point in the second half where Bo Nix, there was a pick. Bills, I don't even remember the Bills had it. I want to say it was maybe like around the 40 or so. But like a play or two, it was literally, I think, like the next play or the one after, Allen throws a long ball to Cooks and it gets intercepted. And I remember watching and thinking, like, ye should not have thrown that. That one to me felt like that was on Josh Allen. I don't think Denver scored on that possession. So it's not necessarily like, well, that spotted Denver some point. Maybe it did. I don't quite remember. But I don't think it was a possession that spotted Denver points. But it's also that was like first, maybe second down. If it was third down, I could at least say like, all right, you're going for the long ball. And if you get it, great. And if it's picked, it's an arm punt. No, you could have lived to fight another down, got closer. That, you might have cost yourself some points there. The other two, his other fumble was he gets blasted on the blind side, drops the ball, Denver recovers. I do believe Denver did kick a field goal there. That to me is the one that is arguably on Allen, maybe not, because when you watch the play, the receiver, I don't remember if it was Coleman. I want to say it was. And if it's not, I'm going to feel really bad because he's already, like, the team is already talking a lot of shit about him. Like, oh gosh, there's that bit where I think it was either the owner or the GM, but I think it was the owner who was saying, he's like, oh no, like it was the coaching staff that pushed to draft him, not my GM. And like that, like after firing the coach, like, ugh, that's, I don't like that look. Like, this feels very messy right now. But to my point, a receiver is supposed to like block or chip the rusher. And the way that the receiver did it was he just kind of pushed him. And he pushed him away from the O-lineman who couldn't do a block. So the rusher just had a free shot on Allen and knocked the ball loose. And yes, that is still on Allen. He still has the ball. He can still hold it. When you're blasted from the blind side because your O-lineman didn't block because the receiver pushed the defender away from the O-lineman and closer to you, I am going to blame that more on the receiver, but Allen is not entirely absolved of fault. Then there's the Cooks interception. This is what I saw. I saw pass, receiver has it, 2 feet in bounds, looks like he has possession of the ball. He's going down and his knee touches. So he's down by contact, the play is over. But he is going to the ground, so he does have to maintain possession. But he's also at that point wrestling with the defender, and then the defender comes up with the ball that never hits the ground. What I see is simultaneous possession when they're on the ground. And the rule with simultaneous possession is it goes to whoever caught it first. And if it is genuine, both of you caught that ball at the same time, it goes to the offense. So Cooks catches it, because here's the thing, if Cooks caught it, was down by contact, and the ball did not survive the ground, that is an incompletion. 100%. And you can make the argument that, like, well, you know, he loses, and you can say, like, well, he loses possession, you know, on the way to the ground, it doesn't survive the ground, so maybe there's an argument that he fumbled it into the Denver receiver's hands. But I feel like I have seen versions of this where, yeah, you have 2 people, like someone catches the ball, then the other guy's like fighting for it, and they're both on the ground. At that point, it's down by contact. And while neither of them has possession because they're both fighting for it, like the ball's not on the ground. Like someone has it. Essentially, I guess, here's what I'm trying to say. Either Cooks had it, or the Denver player fighting him with possession means the ball doesn't hit the ground, and it's in a weird way kind of helping Cooks keep possession. That sounds stupid. I know that. Like, saying it out loud is weird, but that's how this can work. Like, genuinely how this can work. Because he was down by contact and had it first. If it was the other way around, and McMillan, I believe, is the player, like, if he had caught it first and is going to the ground, and then Cooks starts wrestling with him for the ball, and Cooks comes out with it, that's still an interception, because whoever caught it first has, like, with a simultaneous possession situation, whoever caught it first, it's your ball. You know, so long as you're down by contact. Because if McMillan had, like, ripped it out while Cooks was still on his feet and was running, 100% Denver ball. It's an interception at that point because it didn't hit the ground, but essentially at that point, like, it's a Cooks fumble. But, like, if the Denver player caught it first, that's a Denver interception for sure. If the Denver player rips it out of the receiver's hands while they're both on their feet, that's Denver possession. The way that happened, that is 100% a Buffalo reception. And I was shocked when they didn't overturn it. Because that is exactly what I saw. Like, this is how that rule works. What the fuck are you doing? And what was I about to say? Sorry, I thought I had something else, then I think I kind of lost it. Oh, I remember now. It was how quickly they moved on from it. It's not just the fact that I think the ruling was total bullshit and completely wrong. It's the fact that they, in a playoff game in overtime, in a crucial change of possession, just almost kind of rush it over. Like, no, yeah, it's Denver ball. Yeah, we took a quick look at it. It's fine. Like, no. This is bullshit. If they took a long look and said, look, we are sticking with the call on the field, I still wouldn't like it. I would still be like, I disagree with this. But at least, like, you followed your process. I genuinely feel like that ending was rigged. I can't lie. Just, what's that line from 1984? It's something along the lines of, like, their final and most important rule was never believe what you see with your eyes. My eyes told me that ending was rigged. And I don't like that. Especially because it was only a few days ago. It was like Monday or Tuesday. Because there's this thing I remembered where the Rams had like a mentalist come into like the facility, and it was, I don't know if it was just like a cool fun thing or trying to help like hype up the team and like early in the season, but like they weren't doing as well. Like I don't exactly remember. But there was this whole thing where he predicted the Rams winning the Super Bowl against the Broncos. And it's been something that's lived in my head rent-free a little bit as like that's like a neat thing to happen. And yeah, like I picked the Rams to win the NFC at the start of the season, but I don't know. Like I think I'm gonna roll with Seattle right now. Well, but it's something that's kind of lingered in there a bit. And after Denver won, I thought back to it and was like, you know, maybe that dude was right. Maybe he kind of had something. I don't know. But then I'm on Instagram, and I think it's like the NFL official account posts it. And they're like, wow, look how crazy. The Rams are still alive, and the Broncos are still alive. Maybe this could happen. I don't know. Like, this feels rigged. And this is why I fucking hate sports betting. Actually, let me rephrase that. I hate the official endorsement of sports betting. Because people wanting to bet on sports games, like, that's fine. I mean, like, I don't know, like, genuinely gamble responsibly if you're going to gamble. But the fact that I'm watching a game and I see multiple ads encouraging gambling on the product, especially a product where officiating is so key and is so easy to get wrong, and there's nothing you can do about a bad call even when it's blatant. Like, I will never I'm a Saints fan. I'll never forget the NFC Championship in 2018. Because here's the thing. The pass interference no call will always piss me off. But 100%, the drive before, I believe it was Cam Jordan, it might have been someone else, like clearly pulls on Goff's face mask. And the Rams had to kick a field goal instead of getting a 1st and 10 at like the 2-yard line or something. So genuinely, if the pass interference was called, but that face mask wasn't, the Rams would have gotten screwed. I can't lie. So we're even there. But in overtime, when Breeze throws the interception, he's hit in the head, on the helmet. Like how I saw Justin Herbert get karate chopped on the dome. Like right in front of the ref. Clear as day. Yeah, we're not going to call that. That's fine. You can do that to the quarterback. Oh, but if you like hit Tom Brady on the shoulder as he's throwing a ball, that's roughing the passer. And that's not a bullshit thing, because that was in the 2018 AFC Championship against the Chiefs. Because I think that was the game-winning drive, or it's like right, but no, excuse me, the game-winning drive would have been in overtime. This was the end of regulation. He dead ass gets hit on the shoulder, like, yeah, that's roughing the passer. You can't do that to Tom Brady. Officiating in the NFL genuinely feels like it gets worse every year. And I remember saying at points this year, like, I struggle watching games anymore because the product is fucking awful. And the playoffs have been great. We have gotten, like, almost every single game has come down to the wire. And even the ones that haven't, like Texans Steelers, didn't come down to the wire. Came down to the fourth quarter because it was 7-6 going into the fourth quarter. The only ones that really felt out of reach were Seahawks 49ers. And you can argue the games with the Patriots. Because, I mean, that Chargers game felt close for a good while. And then as soon as New England scored a touchdown, I was like, this game is over. Because, LA just can't do anything on offense. And then that Texans game with Stroud just giving away the ball. And I remember at least one of those, because I came into the game later. But I saw the replay. I was like, okay, one of them like literally hit his receivers on the hands and bounced up in the air. So if you want to be like, dude, CJ Stroud screwed his team with 4 interceptions. Okay, like literally one of those for sure was not his fault. I haven't actually like watched replays of all the others. I also remember watching the halftime show, and I remember Ryan Clark going off on CJ Stroud. And his point was like that close to making sense to me, but was fundamentally flawed. Essentially, his argument was, Stroud, you were the QB. You were supposed to be that guy. You know, you had that great rookie season. Last year wasn't as great. This year also, like, kind of whatever. The defense has been what's keeping y'all in the games. It's what won you the game last week. You are not playing well. You are costing your team. You need to step up. You need to be that dude, and you need to deliver. I'm like, okay, no, that makes sense. I can see that. I can agree with that. But then in the same breath is like, yeah, you know, like your running game isn't doing anything. You know, you don't have your number one receiver. Like, I don't think Dell was there either. It's like, there's no Collins, there's no Dell. Schultz lost for the game. Like, you have no weapons. And this is an important game to determine if you can be that guy. You got to prove him right. Like, come on. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait, so, like, if you're saying, like, you know, it's the playoffs and, you know, you're the QB, you're supposed to be the leader, you know, you got to do your best, you got to lead your team. I'm with you there, I'm with you there. And you saying this is kind of a make or break game for CJ Stroud. It's your third year, you are not looking as good as you did in that first year, and you're in the playoffs, and you've been playing like trash. You need to play better. I get that. But then you're also saying, if he's not doing well without his weapons, then, you know, that's kind of how it felt like. Like, if he's not doing well without his weapons, you have to disregard him. I'm like, wait, what? What? Yeah, like, if you take away my number one receiver, my number one receiving tight end, and I also don't have my number 2 receiver. Also, my running game isn't doing well because that Pats defense is really, really good. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, I hit a dude on the hands and it ended up being an interception. What? And again, like, I don't want to absolve CJ Stroud because I do believe when I had seen some of those other replays as well, I was like, yeah, you know, some of those were definitely on him. But just, huh? So, if he doesn't do well, I'm sorry, it was just, like, it was a good argument up to a point, and then it went too far and lost significant credibility. Like how Bills-Broncos was a really good game. And then it hit a point where it lost all credibility. And actually talking about it, I'm like, do I really even want to watch the next few games? Like, it's the conference championship and the Super Bowl. Like, of course, but I'm like, do I trust the results? I don't know. Like, if the Broncos and the... Because that's the thing, like, if the Broncos and the Rams win, it's going to be in the back of my head, like, oh, yeah, you know, there was that whole thing, and the NFL's brought it up a couple times. So, yeah, they totally rigged this, didn't they? And then there's... Even if it feels earned. Because I can 100% see the Rams beating the Seahawks. The Rams are a really good team, and they played each other twice, and both games have been close. It came down to Seattle missing a long field goal in the first game, and the second game went into overtime. I would expect a good, hard-fought game on both sides. And with Denver, it's like, yeah, they lost, but even the way they lost Bo Nix, too. I'm like, wait, what? He got injured on that play? He broke his, I don't think he broke his, I think he fractured it. Like, he, got up and looked like he was walking fine after. Like, immediately, not like, oh, man, like he's down, we gotta check on him, make sure he's okay, or, he's, hobbling a little bit to the sideline to get a shot. Like, no, he's fine. Like, okay, adrenaline can, get you so far. Like, I get it, but what? Because I remember when that news broke, it was another thing that made me go, is this now rigged? Or it's like, yeah, we want you to not have your starting quarterback next week. Or for the Super Bowl if you guys make it. So, he got injured here. I haven't seen the x-rays. I don't know if the x-rays came out. But, that's how it felt. With how weird that situation was. How genuinely unexpected that injury was. Because it did not seem like it occurred on the field. Also, I just have to talk about that Caleb Williams touchdown. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Ben Johnson is apparently, allergic to points. And, again, there was a similar play that happened in the Rams-Bears game to what happened in Bills-Broncos, although it was fundamentally different. Because here was receiver has ball, knee touches down, and after knee touches down, then the ball is ripped out. He is clearly down by contact, and there was no simultaneous possession going on that, anyone could really claim. Similar plays, definitely different plays. But yeah, it's Ben Johnson might be allergic to points. They just were not kicking field goals at certain points in that game, and they probably should have. But at the same time, I was saying it last week, and it's you can criticize people for not taking points when people are missing field goals constantly, though, or missing extra points. And you got the snow coming down in Chicago. I'm that's yeah, hindsight is 2020. I'm not going to fault you for that. I feel like I should, but to be honest, I'm not going to fault you for that because I understand the conditions. But that touchdown, I audibly gasped when I saw it happen. I just went, what the fuck? It was awesome. And I genuinely thought they were going to go for two to just win the game. I was a little sad that they didn't because I just kind of wanted to see it happen. But, then they went to overtime, got the ball second, and it's all right, you didn't score, let's do this. And then Caleb throws an interception. This is, almost exactly how the Bills game ended. Team goes down the field, ties the game, the other team gets first possession, punts, second team has it, and then throws an interception. Although I will say, the Bears game, yeah, Caleb threw a genuine interception. There was no bullshit there. As much as I'm man, this might have been rigged for that weird, Broncos, Rams shit. I can't remember a moment in the Bears-Rams game where I thought to myself, wow, that's some bullshit. Because, the Adams fumble, that wasn't a fumble. His knee was down, 100%. But, yeah, that's, I guess that's kind of all I have to say about that. So I guess picking, because I can't really stick with my bracket unless I say Seahawks over the Rams, which I don't know. I'll say this, genuinely I don't know, because both these teams are incredible and they play each other really well. But with this shit in the back of my mind, I'm I guess I have to take the Rams, but I don't want to pick, I don't want to pick the Rams in general. I'm no, I don't want to pick that being right, so I think I'll stick with Seattle. But I also picked the Rams to win the NFC at the start of the year, so I'm almost right about that, but fuck it, I'll take the Seahawks, and Broncos, Patriots. Patriots have the edge because they have their starting quarterback. Like, I don't think Jared Stidham has thrown a pass this year. I don't know if he threw a pass last year. But that Broncos defense is really good. But so is that Patriots defense. Here's why I'm going to pick Denver. And I know I just said the Patriots definitely have that advantage, but here's why I'm picking Denver. Drake May can't hold on to a football. He led the league in fumbles this year. He fumbled multiple times against the Chargers, and he fumbled, I think, 4 times against Houston. And you have an elite Denver pass rush. I feel like with the game on the line, I trust New England's offense more than Denver's. But I think Denver's defense is going to score. Maybe multiple times. And the Patriots will probably win the game because I feel like they're probably at least having your starting quarterback gives you such a bigger advantage right now. But I'm still going to lean toward Denver. So we'll see what happens. I think that's it.